All right, guys, we are back. Another market check. I'm going to get straight into it. If we all remember yesterday's potential setup, it ended up presenting itself. I ended up taking it with a few slight errors, I guess, on my behalf, which I'll go through now. So yeah, this was gold yesterday. Um, at the time of filming, or recording, we were around here. We had missed the break of structure, and then we were looking for a pullback into this area. We got the pullback. As I said, I would not enter until we mitigate this supply. Where were we? So this is what happened. We broke structure here. I missed this entry. We were pulling in slowly, creating a nice little sell side liquidity curve. Beautiful mitigation. However, we were leaving behind some buy side liquidity, which I did not enter on. I waited because I could see, and also to break, I wouldn't enter until we broke structure, which the only structure we could break was down here. So price went back, and my expectational order flow was to make a higher high just to create this lower high, so then we can break that, which is exactly what happened. Price came up, made that lower high. I was like, yes, awesome. Aggressively came down. I entered on this break of structure. A few things I could have done here. I could have seen there is supply created here in the meantime and waited once again for another mitigation, which is, sometimes it could do it, sometimes it might just continue to go down. But I said, you know what? It's already created that third tap regardless. So it's not just going to keep creating supply mitigating. It can do that forever. It's not going to do that. So yeah, that was my reasoning. I'm just going to enter. It's already created some form of supply. We've already mitigated it. It's not just going to continue doing this forever. So you're going to have to enter at some point. I enter. And what I did was set a mental stop loss right here. What did price do? Came up, wicked it. Literally as it wicked it, I said, I've placed this mental stop loss. I'm exiting. I exited. As soon as I exit, bang. Clean flush down. Takes out what would have been my technical target at a 3.68 risk to reward. What my takeaway is from this, given I've missed this, so obviously takeaway one was be on the chart a little bit earlier. You would have taken this trade. It would have been probably a slightly lower risk to reward. We could have probably gone to 3. Yeah, around a 3. So takeaway one, be on the chart a little bit earlier, catch this early break. And then takeaway two was, given we weren't able to catch it earlier, do not exit until we've closed above our stop loss target. Obviously it's on the 1 minute, so we only wicked it on the 1 minute and kept going down. So there's no real reason for me to, because other people would have put their stop loss here as well, so theirs would have been taken out. So was mine. So yeah, reasoning would have been only exit the position if you got a candle closure above this. As soon as you get a candle closure above this, that's fine. You can exit this, and then you obviously calculate your risk to reward so that you can exit the position, allowing you to also exit on the close, on the candle closure, not just on the wick. So yeah, that is my 2 takeaways from this. Expectational order flow is very correct, spot on, but just the live management and entry was slightly off. So yeah, that is takeaway. Only close it once the candle has fully closed, not wicked. All right. My next setup, which I ended up taking, this was today actually, so we can talk about this on APR USDT. beautiful return to zone. You can see here, beautiful range and efficiency, volume area low at EQ or just below EQ. Yeah, price had a supply OBIF here, which never got mitigated. Obviously, I entered here, so at the time it wasn't mitigated. But we swept extreme liquidity, and we also swept these highs up here, which I was very happy with. Given this, we broke structure, not the best structure break. So this was on the 1 minute. This was a sketchy entry, which definitely can take some notes from. Entered on this break. Obviously, we came down aggressively here. Pulled back in to mitigate this supply. We mitigated pretty nicely. Like we stopped at about halfway or just over halfway. Didn't exceed it. But then what I wasn't too much of a fan of was after mitigating it, we were coming down very, very slowly, creating a nice buy side liquidity curve right here. And we can see these, obviously, it's somewhat of a buy side liquidity curve. The point being was price was coming down slowly, and it wasn't a straight flush, which isn't the best thing. So yeah, when it comes down slowly, we are susceptible for reversals. And what did price do? You can see here, it beautifully SFP'd our volume area low right here, or even borderline. Here you go. It SFP'd our volume area low, SFP'd our level 2 market structure low, and started moving up. This right here was already signs that price might reverse and move towards our swing high, and is a good opportunity to de-risk, which I didn't do. So lesson here, as soon as we see this SFP down here, de-risk, because price is most likely going to move back up to the swing high, because that's the reaction of an SFP. The next candle will either follow and continue the downtrend, or if it doesn't follow and continue the downtrend, it will move its way up, which is what happened. So yeah, a bit to learn on there. And yeah, as of now, we are currently out of both gold and APR positions at a loss, which is okay. And now, yeah, we will resume our normal market check and see what's happening today. Obviously, we're a bit late. We're quite in London, so annoyingly we would have missed a few setups, but that's okay. Endeavour to get on here earlier. So yeah, let's start with gold. All of this can go. And we've pretty much mitigated most of whatever was left in here. Like there's not much more here. So yeah, we can re-pull this demand zone just to show that it has been mitigated. And the next sort of range that I'm looking on for gold is a bit more of a higher time frame range, which would technically be higher probability, and that is hovering around here. So yeah, some rangey price action in here. Obviously, you could have still taken trades as we saw yesterday. And what I would like to see is price slowly come up, mitigate this supply wicket, come back down fairly aggressively, create some form of supply in here, like so, and then come back up, mitigate this, and then flush down. So this is what I would like to see here, something like this. But for now, yeah, we can only make do with what we got, and that is just follow this rangy price action and see what happens, really. But yeah, I would like to see a distribution. Reason being is like look on the higher time frame. We've been going off for ages. If you want to be really technical, we've been uptrending. We've been seriously uptrending for about the last 3 years, 3 years. So, like, it's not just going to continue going a straight upward, in a directly upward trajectory. So, you can expect some form of pullback at some point. So yeah, continue looking for. It's already looking like as if it is topping. So this could literally be the distribution that causes the big move down. So we'll wait and see what happens here. But this is our pre-planning for now. Let's see if there's anything more local. Yeah, nothing really to do locally here for gold, so I will move on. I'm not try to scalp something that's not meant to be scalped. Move on to silver. Maybe something in here, but it's just not nice. It's like this is just a bit in the middle of nowhere, really, which is why I'm not that much of a fan of it at the moment. And there's this very, very shitty structure demand which got mitigated itself on this move down. Yeah, maybe in here, if anything. No. Yeah, there's just nothing here, really. Like, this really is in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, wouldn't really want to be taking anything in here, and I will just be waiting to wait for either this to get mitigated or this demand to get mitigated. That's really it for now. So yeah, silver, and move on. Euro. And when did this get taken, man? Was this yet the other day? There's beautiful liquidity curve here. Yeah, you would have entered. Yeah, you got a re-entry, which is pretty funny. A very, very, very extended model, but yeah, you wouldn't have entered, like, unless you got a re-entry in here for this front running. You would not be entering here because look how you've already swept most of the extreme liquidity, and you have ran through this demand. So yeah, you would not be entering here. So we can completely remove this area and look for new moves. Probably would be some supply here, I like to think so. Alright, not yet. Not yet, we'll give price a bit more time. Oh, you technically have this. No, actually you don't. I stand corrected. Yeah, not much in here. You have this demand. And wait and see what happens. And yeah, and obviously don't overlook the fact that we are in this much higher accumulation model. I'm trying to see if we already swept something. Technically speaking, this can be valid extreme liquidity. So I can get rid of this. That's valid too, don't get me wrong, but this is more reasonable. And this really didn't sweep anything, so yeah, for an entry opportunity here, what would I like to see is just a slightly slower. We're moving down a little bit too quick, but I'd like to see a slightly slower descent into these liquidity and demand POIs, and or even this one here. So yeah, give prices a bit more time and see what happens. And yeah, there's perfect reason to come up higher to mitigate this third type of our distribution. So some very, very decent context building here. All right, next. And we mitigated this supply. Now let's see if there's any POIs that we are pulling back into. Once again, already from this price behavior here, there's no real entries I'm looking at the moment. Nothing grabs my attention. Is that valid? No, mitigated. Nice liquidity curve here. In terms of GBP USD, there's nothing really like, even on like the local. Yeah, nothing really to see here. Is this something mitigated? Yeah, everything's been mitigated, so can't just have to wait a bit. Valid supply here. Can mark this, but. That's it, really. AUD. I ran through this as well. What I don't like about this is that we're hanging a little bit too much in this deviation limit section. Given this, we'll see if price bounces off any demand created here. It'll definitely be something worth. Mitigated right here. Perfect. Yeah, based on this rapid expansion, I can see us respecting this demand zone. Yeah, not really a fan of this range. So we'll see what happens. We've got our alerts, that's fine. And same thing, AUD, USD, we can just wait a bit. Wait for some more data. USD CAD. We really front ran this extreme liquidity target and have now moved and almost front run our opposite extreme liquidity target, which you could kind of you can see it is doing here. Yeah, just triple lows here, which will probably get swept at some point. And that's kind of it for USD CAD. Yeah, same thing, bit more time. GBP, JPY. We've swept this, and we've got this demand. Yeah, like all I'm really doing is just plotting demand and supply points and waiting for a reaction off them, because there's nothing really else to. There's not much. Very nice here on the 8 hour. But yeah, no real clean distributions or accumulations at the moment, at least not from what I'm seeing. Same here, although we might get something in. Maybe in here. Is this even clean though? I need to see what tap 1, like off high. Tab 2. What are we working with here? Context. Context, we were expecting this to get mitigated. Minimum this to get mitigated, which never did, but we can see that we are leaving behind a fairly decent looking liquidity curve. So expectation order flow is price to go up at some point to sweep this. Will it do it after mitigating this, or will it do it after creating a local accumulation here? We don't know yet, but we can only look at confirmations for now. So let's dive into these potential Alright, extreme liquidity is the most reasonable one. It's obviously here, but that's quite close. But it is. This is valid. So once again, no confirmation until for me until we sweep this extreme liquidity. But price behavior is a bit up and down at the moment. All right. No real demand in here, the price can bounce off. I was thinking maybe there might be something in here that the price could bounce off, but just liquidity really. I think we may have grabbed that liquidity low. I think we may have grabbed it pretty cleanly as well. Oh, did we? Front runner, there you go. Yeah, that's it for GBPNZ. We can already see prices moving up, so yeah, I'm not liking this that ranging environment. Yeah, this was that one we were talking about the other day. Didn't enter here. I did miss this. We've mitigated this nicely. Yeah, we no longer need this. If anything, this might be my new range pool. Not confirmed yet, but this is what I will be looking at. Yeah. This range is now invalidated for me. Nothing worthwhile in here. Obviously, we have this accumulation. Nice liquidity curve in there. Very clean indeed. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, obviously this was that missed trade, but next. I would only look at this if we get a very, very slow pullback into a POI here. But then when you look at our macro context, it's going to be hard to look for an accumulation when you got this demand right below us, followed by that liquidity curve. Then it's there's a liquidity curve here and there's a buy side liquidity curve forming there. So it's like, but yeah, this isn't really worth the risk. Yeah, it's just too abrupt. We'll chart it for now, but then your extreme liquidity is here. Technically here. You have the 2 candle rule, the 6 candle rule valid. In that one before, it was not valid. Why was it not valid, you may ask? No consecutive upward move. There's no 2 here. There's bearish, bullish, 2 bearish, 2 bullish. Here you got 2 bullish, 2 bearish, 2 bullish. That's 6 candle rule valid. There you go. That's why it's a 6 candle rule, in case you did not know. But yeah, you need a very slow descent in here. And if you want a very slow descent, by the time you get that slow descent, you've probably you've displaced way too much compared to this tab 1 and 2. You probably end up like somewhere here. But we'll see what happens. Regardless, it's not interesting. This there's a lot of liquidity here. There's a lot of liquidity here. It can go either way. Really, like what you're doing is compressing Same thing here, invalidated. Haven't hit this, but we have really solidly mitigated that supply. How far out did I draw this, man? Look at that. That's called perfection. That is called perfection. Yeah, not really interested in here at the moment. AUD CAD. We're well in here. Well into this. Yeah, you'd be looking to distribute here. Hold on. And then we'll just wait for a bit more price movement here. NZD CAD. Looks like this would have been APO3 and will probably continue its expansion all the way down to range low, because look at those beautifully looking liquidity highs, liquidity lows, sorry. Look at that. Beautiful. So yeah, we can see price most likely go all the way down. And that is Forex done in 38 minutes. We've moved pretty quick today. What is Bitcoin doing? Valid. Nice supply chain, demand chain creation. This looks good. I like how this looks. I really do. Yeah, just a rangy price action here. Let's look at our USDT dominance. We could be topping here on USDT. Lovely wick there. Yeah. This looks nice. Kind of tapped these extreme liquidity highs here. Not quite following our expectational order flow, but we did sweep that liquidity. It can still complete itself, so this model can still complete itself. That being the third tap. And what I do like about this, just off the bat here, is this. A TCT within TCT entry, I believe. So that would have been tap 1, tap 2, tap 3. Would you have had a more refined break? Maybe not. And you can see even on the way up to breaking this structure, this 1 minute market structure, we were leaving quite a bit of a sell side liquidity trail. So it's sketchy, but the entry could have been here. And then yeah, you have this pullback. Yeah. So yeah, Asta can still complete itself. And tap into this supply. Yeah, that's kind of it for now, guys. Yeah, nothing really. I'm going to monitor a few other pairs on my own. But other than that, that's all I've got for today. I will get this upload up and running, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.